What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute. It's been a while since I've seen you guys, so I thought, why not introduce a new series to come back here? This is Highs and Lows, where we are going to talk about, you guessed it, the highs and lows of different wrestling shows in WWE, maybe expanding to other promotions in the future. We'll see. Right now, we've got to talk about Wrestlemania, and let me tell you, there was some highs. But there was a lot of lows, and some of the lows were really a bummer. Now, when I talk about these events, it's not going to be in chronological order. I thought, why do that when we can split this thing right down the middle in two? We're going to talk about the highs last, and we're going to start with the lows because I'm a pretty positive person, and I believe in ending on a high note. So let's go ahead and start with the lows, and let's get this out of the way. Starting with the biggest low of the weekend, and it hurts my heart of hearts to say it, but it's true. It was the main event of WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. I got a lot of mixed emotions with this. If I'm being quite honest, when I first watched it and everything that was happening, I was in denial, okay? Denial is a river in Egypt, and I'm gay. And the thing is, I really, really wanted this to be good. I was so excited for this. You can ask my wife. You can ask my coworkers. You can ask my friends. I was really looking forward to this match because it was supposed to be John Cena's crowning moment. It was supposed to be John Cena winning his 17th world title, and he did that. He did do that. But in the way he did it, it just left a bitter taste in my mouth. Kind of like I actually drank like a tea whenever I was expecting a soda. You know what I mean? It's just like, nasty. So let's talk about this match for a second. Okay, so we had John Cena, we had Cody Rhodes, and it started out great. The crowd was into it. It was electric. The entrance of John Cena coming out to basically nothing, just his name on a black screen. I thought it was amazing. I thought that absolutely makes sense for the heel John Cena right now. Cody Rhodes coming out to the exact opposite of we had like bikers, BMX bikers riding around, and it was all colorful and loud and all like electric and exciting. The exact opposite. Great foil right there. Great storytelling. And I guess that was as far as they wanted to go with the great storytelling, because we would throw all of that genius out the window and we would never see it again. So then the match happened, and we have Cody Rhodes and John Cena. And, look, did I expect a 5-star classic from John Cena? No, not at this age, and not really ever. John Cena isn't known for being a technical wrestler. He's known for being John freaking Cena. That's all he needs to be. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. Maybe he does the STF, all this stuff, right? And we got all of that, okay? But it took us a while to get there, and that was my first complaint. It was slow, all right? It was a slow match, and again, I was really trying to make the most of it. I was like, you know what? It's all good. It's very slow paced, but we're going to get there. I know this finish is going to be amazing, especially after watching the finish for Saturday, right? I was like, we have to do something here, and so we're going through the match. We're going through the motions. John Cena's doing his things. And then the ref gets knocked out. And I think, here we go. Here we go. We're about to turn the Jets on. This is about to get really good. See you later, WrestleMania 40. Make room for 41 being the best main event in WrestleMania history. And it was not to be. Look, oh my God. Because who came out? It was not The Rock. It wasn't Randy Orton, and it wasn't Stone Cold. No, it was the long-awaited entrance of Travis freaking Scott. And he really took his time. Let me tell you, he was acting like that snail from SpongeBob coming out to light the torch. He was coming out so slow. And I was just waiting for him to please just come down the ramp. It honestly took the air out of the whole arena. It was so bizarre. And people were initially excited because we thought, okay, this is just going to be the first person to come out, and we're going to eventually get The Rock, maybe Seth coming out because we got a little bit spoiled last year, So we were expecting this big swerve, all these people coming out. No, it's just him. No, they thought that's enough. That'll be all right. People will love that. Ridiculous. Travis Scott comes out. He makes his way gingerly to the ring. And Cody Rhodes does hit a crossroads, gets his comeuppance on him, but it's enough of the distraction. John Cena gets the title and knocks out. Well, first he tries to hit Cody Rhodes, but they have a little tug of war. Cody's like has the belt, and John Cena's like, you have to make a choice. Chooses to be a good guy, which is a good story. Don't know why Travis Scott was out there, but it was a good story. And then John Cena hits him with the belt, and then a 1, and then a 2, and then a 3, and that was it. It felt kind of lackluster. I was like, it left me going, that's it? You know? So, look, John Cena won his 17th world title. We got to celebrate that. But it was just kind of weird how it all kind of went down. And I don't know why we did it this way. And I have more thoughts, but we're going to move on for now because we got a lot more to talk about. This was a long show. The next low of the night, I'm going to put Becky, Hulk Hogan coming out and kind of taking Bayley's spot low-key. Not a big fan of that. Now, look, the match itself was okay. I think it also deserves a spot on here for not really being that exciting, especially because I think Liv and Raquel have proved themselves. I think Lyra's proved herself. And I was looking forward to Lyra and Bayley teaming up when Bayley got hurt, right, off, in kayfabe. And, of course, we need a surprise partner. Out comes the man Becky Lynch. And, of course, I love Becky Lynch. It was nice to see her. But then it kind of sunk in like, she really did take her spot, though. And that in real life. And when that stuff kind of gets into the mix, it's really hard to enjoy your wrestling whenever you're thinking about, that poor person who actually got screwed out of a good payday, a good spot. The match before the main event kind of sucks. Kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth again. So I'm over here just having a horrible time. As far as like that, I'm like, man, that kind of sucked. But it's okay because we have the main event coming up. Oh, boy, I was so naive. And I mean, the only thing I remember from this match, honestly, is it was the Becky Lynch show. We had the hot tag, and then we had her picking up the win, and that's all I remember. So we're going to move on. Not the best. Speaking of not the best, but also, not the worst, I'm not going to harp on this too much. I put Logan Paul versus AJ Styles as another low light. I mean, look, the match was fine. It was a wrestling match. I think the biggest problem, and I've seen other people say this, so I can't take credit for this thought on my own, but it really felt like a wrestling match. And I think the problem is people expect Logan Paul, I am one of those people, to do something wacky, like the Prime Bottle spot, or all of his buddies coming out. And we did have a little bit of that at the end. And we had a Karrion Kross cameo. Did not expect that. But at the end of the day, it was just a wrestling match, right? So, I think Logan Paul is most likely trying to separate himself from being just like a celebrity YouTuber who happens to wrestle and is trying to just be a wrestler. But that's just who he is, man. At the end of the day, Logan Paul is a YouTuber. That's just who he is. And he could be a boxer. He can go into wrestling. And he can go into swimming. I don't know. He could be a tennis legend. But he's always going to be a YouTuber first. And that's not even a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, actually, that he can stand out. And people always say, oh, my God, man, that Logan Paul kind of sucks. He's a horrible human being. But, man, can he wrestle? He's just... But he's got too much of a resume. He's got too much of a name for him to just be a wrestler. He's always going to have that it's Logan Paul from YouTube kind of thing. Not a bad thing, but it was kind of boring because he didn't use any of that in this match, and we just got a match, and I kind of was getting sleepy. So, not the best. Speaking of underwhelming, El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix. Now, look, okay. Now, I shouldn't say that because as far as the match was concerned, I mean, those two are just great. Technically amazing wrestlers. Nobody missed anything, and it was a great match. Well-oiled machines, but at the end of the day, look, did I need this match? No, not really. And I know Rey got hurt legitimately, and that sucks. No way around that. That sucks. The silver lining in this is that Phoenix got to debut his WrestleMania debut with Penta on the same card. That's actually pretty cool. But it's just it kind of got thrown in there last minute. Wasn't the best. And then Chad Gable, El Grande Americano won. And it's okay, yeah, he won. And then that was it. I thought there was going to be a whole unmasking thing. Maybe we're going to get a big spot. I think this all comes down to expectation versus reality, by the way. What were we expecting and what did we get? This just felt like a run-of-the-mill match. Could have happened on SmackDown. Could have happened on Raw. Could have happened on the pre-show. And it was in the middle of the card. And I didn't think it lived up to the hype. So here it is. And then we had the Raiders and New Day. They had a match. It was extremely boring. It was 1,000% a dud. You do not have to watch it. You don't have to know it existed. They're the champions. We're going to move on. It was so boring, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So that was another light. Now, these next two, these are my last two, all right? Which, by the way, means WrestleMania was amazing. Okay, I'm going to say that right here. because I hate talking negatively about the product, but also, come on. We got to be honest here. We got to put the highs and lows in the categories, do all the things it makes for the video. I can't just say positive things. Nobody would watch. So we got to do this. And so Fatu versus LA Knight for the U.S. title. It was good, but that's it. Okay, it was good, but that's it. And I'm gonna go ahead and put Naomi versus Jade Cargill here as well, because I feel the same about them. They were great matches. The competitors did awesome. The right people won. But when you're looking at the highs we're about to talk about, they're just going to get lost in the shuffle. We're not going to remember WrestleMania for these two matches. That's why they're here, okay? Because I think the highs that I've put, I've tried to be strict. I've tried to be like, these are phenomenal and could be like, you could remember this WrestleMania for these moments. You're not going to remember it for this. And so it was fine. You know, Jacob Fatu is the champion. Let's go. We're going to do something awesome with that. He's going to keep on building and being a great character. LA Knight's going to be just fine. Jade Cargill got an amazing, great big win over Naomi, her friend in real life, and at WrestleMania. They're going to be just fine. But as far as right now, right here, right now, we can move on. So we are going to move on because that's the last of the lows. Now let's go ahead and get some positivity going and talk about some of the highs of WrestleMania 41. There was a lot of them, and overall, I'm just going to spoil it right here. I really enjoyed this WrestleMania. So here we go. Starting off with a wacky little high, we had Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out and trying to get a big old lawsuit for WWE by crashing into a woman at ringside. It was actually insane to watch this happen live. It reminded me, this is a live show. Things can go wrong. And I'm surprised. I don't remember if this has ever happened. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often if it has. Like when people ride their motorcycles like Undertaker or Stone Cold with his four-wheeler around the ring, I'm surprised there's not more wrecks because it's such a tight space. But he did come in way too hot, tried to make a turn, hit the barricade, and then a woman fell 2 days later. And then it's kind of hilarious, not gonna lie. It got a big old laugh from me. And then we had Nick Khan come out there and try to resolve the situation. So, you know, whatever happened to that lady, I have no idea. I'm sure she's doing fine. But yeah, it made for a pretty great moment, honestly. Stone Cold coming out. And then he did the announcement, which I could care less about. This moment was it just made me laugh. It's just live TV at its best. Say his name and he appears to lose to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. That is Joe Henry, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, coming out and shocking at least me. I don't know. People were saying that this was going to be the surprise opponent. I really did not believe that at all. I was surprised. So I'm happy. Hearing his entrance, hearing the reaction, and seeing Joe Henry come out with that face that he makes was just everything that we needed from this match. The match itself was very quick, and I thought that was fine. Like, no, it didn't need to be a WrestleMania Classic because the Classic was in the moment. The moment was Joe Henry coming out, the TNA champion, fighting Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Vince McMahon would never. And it's an insane time we live in. And so I was just having a great time watching it. Randy Orton was having a great time. And one of the funniest, like, actually made me laugh finishes of the night was Joe Henry picking up momentum, picking up speed, doing his little thing, and then doing the turnaround pose to the camera as the camera zooms in. And then out of frame comes Randy Orton with the RKO literally out of nowhere. Just amazing to watch. And it actually did make me laugh. And so that was a great ending. And then we had the post-match where Randy Orton gave kudos to Joe Henry before giving him another RKO. I thought it was amazing. All fun. And you got to have these moments on WrestleMania. It can't all be serious. And it was also groundbreaking. TNA champion. Seeing TNA's logo on a WWE screen is still so weird to me. I thought it was amazing. In general, I think the multi-men / women matches like stole the show. And this is no different. We're putting here the Fatal 4-Way Classic between Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. If you told me this man was going to walk in the WrestleMania without gold and walk out with the Intercontinental Championship that was held by Braun Breaker, I would have thought you were lying. That's what I would have thought. It was the reaction that Dominic Mysterio got when he picked up the win, which they basically did like a carbon copy finish to Io Sky. That was the only thing that was like, Let's get a little bit more creative. But also, I kind of really like that for this, I like that ending. Like, I don't think we've seen that a lot in general in multi-man / women matches. So, I think it was fine. And Dominic got the win. He got the pin, and the place erupted. But before that, the match was great. Like, the actual match itself, Braun Breaker was the MVP, running around, spearing everybody, spearing Carlito, jumping off a table, spearing him through a table. It was amazing stuff. And then we had the first shot being fired by Dominic to Finn Balor, who was just minding his own business. Thought they were all teaming up and buddies when Dominic hit him from behind, trying to hit the 619. Finn Balor realized it and was not happy at all. And so it's just great storytelling. Penta also did amazing. So it was just a great match. Everybody got their stuff in, and Dominic with the surprise win and into an amazing reaction. And here we are. I'm just excited for the future. Maybe he is the greatest Mysterio who ever lived. He's certainly trying to make it a reality, and I can't wait to see what he does next. What else can I say for this next entry except Drew McIntyre? Drew McIntyre could have a match with a pencil and a paper, and he would just deliver a 5-star classic. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest was a match that I was not looking forward to. When they added the Sin City Street Fight, I was a little bit more hyped, but I still wasn't exactly looking forward to it. And then this match was the second match on Sunday, and I really thought, oh, that's a bad place for it. But it was amazing. It was crazy. It was a great street fight. It over-delivered, in my opinion, because expectations were not really there. And it was just brutal. It was gritty. It was nasty. It was disturbing. And the right person won. And that person was Drew McIntyre, who finally gets a win under his belt after losing all of these months. Very happy for him. Okay, look. Now, this match that's on here now, I'm not really going to put this on for the match. I'm putting Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair just solely for Tiffany Stratton getting the win. The right person won, and I loved her entrance, and I'm happy with that. The choice of Charlotte Flair, I'm pretty sure, trying to literally copy Tiffany's attire was a wild choice. But I think it added to the story. I think it added to the rivalry. It's gotten very heated over the last couple months, and this whole kind of like Charlotte's fighting her younger self kind of thing really just added to that. And Tiffany Stratton, again, getting the win in a match that I really didn't care for, that I probably won't ever watch again, that I don't have much to say on. I was just happy to see that moment. She got her moment. Charlotte Flair did not get the win. I thought that was the best choice they could have made, and it just made me excited to keep watching. And so yeah, putting it on here, nothing else to say. Just thought I was very happy to see it. I do have a lot to say about this next one. Now, look, this might be controversial, and you might have realized that this is going on the highest list because it wasn't on the lowest list. It was Jey Uso winning the world title. Look. What was it amazing? No. Okay. But am I happy that Jey Uso got the win? Absolutely. That's my man Jey Uso, yeeting all around, doing what he needs to do. He got the people over with him. He cannot deny the entrance was great. Gunther's entrance was great. The match, I thought it was a great match. Look, I had a good time watching it. I understand if it's not your cup of tea. Maybe Jey Uso's style is just not for you, and that's okay. I don't mind his style. I think it's good. He pulled out some things that surprised me. And then the finish. The finish was surprising. Let's talk about the finish for a second. Because Jey Uso won. Everybody knows that. We're talking about that. But the biggest controversy it actually comes from how he won. And, of course, he won by making Gunther tap out. And not just tap out, but tap out quickly. Like, very, very quickly. And I'm on the side of, I think it makes total sense. Look, Gunther is the type of heel, and I'm not making up this narrative. I've seen this, and I'm going to jump on this bandwagon. He's the type of heel that knows when he needs to give up, and he knows that he's going to have another chance, and he knows that this is just not the time. He gets caught in that submission hold, got to get out of it, okay? Can't risk further injury. It's smart, and it's something that you don't see often, and because of that, I like it, because I like seeing things that I don't see often. A quick tap out with a person who's as strong as Gunther is one I don't see. Now, yes, there is something to be said about a long, drawn-out submission hold. You look at Bret Hart versus Stone Cold. I always look first at Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels and that ankle lock. And won't he tap out? That was one of the best submission finishes I've ever seen. I think for me personally, because I saw that when I was a kid, it trumps Bret Hart versus Stone Cold with the I know it was more iconic, but hey, we all got our biases. I'm a ruthless aggression person all the way. That's just how it is. But there's something to be said about a quick tap out. I don't see it often. I thought it was executed well, and Jey Uso winning makes me happy. So it was a high for me, maybe not for you, and that's okay. I think in general, people loved it, at least in the crowd. It was a great reaction. And then seeing Jimmy come out too, made me tear up a little bit, I'm not going to lie. Because these guys, they've been around for a minute now. Seeing them come out, seeing the brothers hug, it just makes me emotional because I love my family, and I would hope that they would also be in the ring celebrating with me if I ever did something like that. And so it just makes me really happy to see that. And yeah, that's why it's here. I know it might not be your cup of tea, but that's fine. We all have our opinions. I saved these last two for last because I think that this is pretty much unanimous. There's no discussion here. My personal favorite match, and the one I'm going to talk about next, as my personal high, was Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, putting on an instant classic. Like, I'm literally going to go back and watch that match after I finish recording this, just for fun, because it was the best in-ring match of both nights. I don't think there's anybody who could top the in-ring action itself. And it just really showing how a triple threat match can flow, really showing what can really happen. Everybody doing their spots. Nobody's like just kind of left in the dust, right? Everybody's active. It could have gone either way. I really didn't know who was going to win. I was hoping it would be Io. I was also kind of like Rhea getting her moment and her title back. Also kind of a cool thing. Bianca getting her moment and keeping the streak alive for her would have also been a great outcome. So it was one of those matches I was just there for the ride. I was just really excited. And I am a huge Io Sky fan. But even if she lost, I would have been okay with that. But she didn't. She won. She absolutely won. And she did so in a very creative way. I kind of hinted at it earlier, like Dominic won in a similar way, but this was first, so this gets the credit more. Io Sky jumping and then delivering her moonsault to break up the pin and then getting the pinfall victory to win the title. It's just great. It just makes sense. It flowed. Everything about this match flowed. I think it was a perfect match. I think it was 5 stars. And yeah, whether it gets it or not, it's a 5-star match for me. And it's that moment, seeing that, and apparently the stat is that she is the first Japanese wrestler, Japanese women's wrestler to win at Mania. I'm going to have to fact check me on that. But I saw that somewhere, and that's true. That's absolutely insane because we've had 41 of these. But also, congratulations. It was a great moment. Literally perfect for me. But if I'm being objective here, there is only one match that trumps everything, that was the greatest highlight of WrestleMania weekend, that was the best match of just objectively of the weekend, and that was Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. Honestly, if I would have known the bull crap that they were going to pull for John Cena and Cody Rhodes, I would have been like, hey, let this main event the actual show, because it was also just perfect. It was between those two for me. Me personally, I like Io Sky's, Bianca and Rhea more. But like this match is just what wrestling is all about. And it turns out Seth freaking Rollins is a Paul Heyman guy. Crazy. The match itself was great. The entrances were amazing. The hype behind this match for absolutely no reason. The fact that this is basically for custody of Paul Heyman at the end of the day had no right to be this hype. It was literally just all of the superstars, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Paul Heyman, showing you that you don't even need a title to deliver a classic. And they did just that, because the match itself before the finish was amazing, was phenomenal. And watching Paul Heyman throughout, just getting more stressed and more stressed. What is he going to do? Who is he going to help? And coming out with CM Punk as well. But like, absolutely insane. And then we got to the finish. And you know Paul Heyman had to get involved. It would have been like Cody Rhodes and Cena if he didn't. So they actually delivered on expectations here. Paul Heyman gets involved. And it looks like, oh my God, for a second, he betrays Punk and sides with Roman. And I was like, yes, absolutely. get back to your tribal chief. I wasn't too surprised about that. But what did get me was next, because I thought this whole time Seth Rollins was an afterthought. They fooled me, okay? And maybe I'm just not the sharpest knife in the woodshed, but they fooled me because I thought Seth Rollins was an afterthought. I didn't think he was going to win this at all or get involved. I thought it was literally between those two, and so Punk, yes, gets turned on by Paul. Roman Reigns is like, yes, he gives Roman the chair. Seth Rollins is set up exactly like whenever Seth turned on him. So I'm like, oh, here we go. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice at its finest. And then Roman Reigns gets ready to hit him with the chair. Paul freaking Heyman turns on the tribal chief, really gets into those nuts. I mean, just low blow, and then just rubs it in for extra measure, like just dirty. Unbelievable reaction. My jaw was on the floor. Could not believe it was actually happening. Roman Reigns sold it like crazy. Paul sold it like crazy. And then we see Seth Rollins. Turns out he was the mastermind all along. He had the ace up his sleeve. And then Paul Heyman sides with him. Seth hits him in the back with a chair. Just like old times, my friend. And gets the 1, gets the 2, gets the 3. Unreal. Couldn't believe it. One of the best main events I've ever seen under WrestleMania, probably ever. One of the best triple threat matches. It's crazy stuff. Now look, on that note, I want to bring up one more thing. People are saying that at least I've seen this a little bit. I don't know if this is like the big narrative, but The Rock is actually behind all of this because Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman sold his soul to The Rock, and The Rock's going to make this big reveal. Turns out they're all working for him. Cena, everybody. Please don't do this. Look, please. Okay, yes, The Rock. He's The Rock. He's amazing. Everybody loves him. I love him. But please keep him out of this storyline. Because let's look at the facts here. All right, look. The biggest low of the night, honestly, was The Rock. And he wasn't even on the show. And that's the problem. The Rock doesn't know when to show up and when not to show up. Because let's look at the facts here. He ruined John Cena versus Cody Rhodes by making it seem like he was a big part of the story. By making it seem like he was going to show up at WrestleMania and cost Cody Rhodes the title. And making it seem like John Cena sold his soul to him. When it turns out he sold his soul to Travis Scott. Doesn't show up at all. And the main event suffered for it. Okay? And it would have been better if he just didn't show up at all then. If he wasn't going to come now. He tried to ruin Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns last year. Because he goes here and he's all like, give me your spot. And Cody Rhodes is supposed to just lay down like a dog and give it to him. And he takes the spot and he wants to fight Roman. Everybody hates it. And he turns around and says, I never wanted to do that anyway. No, you guys are tripping. And then he tried to ruin it. We stopped him that time, boys. But not much we can do. We can't drag him to the show. We can tell him go away, but we can't drag him to the show. The truth is, he's a part-time and son of a bitch. And he needs to stay away from wrestling, and he needs to stay away if he's not going to commit. I mean, this is all fine if The Rock wants to come back and actually show up and actually be a part of the company. And it's just so random. Sometimes we get The Rock character. Sometimes we get The Rock CEO, whatever he is. And sometimes we get nothing. And I can't keep up. They can't keep doing this to me. I'm trying to invest here. I'm trying to invest my time, my emotions, my energy, and instead I'm getting a part-time and son of a in The Rock, and I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. So, no, do not put him in this storyline at all. He's going to ruin it. I just know he's going to ruin it. It's actually perfect right now. Keep the players in the game. Make it completely separate from that, please. I do not want to see it. I do not want to see The Rock anywhere. Rock, I'm breaking up with you. But this WrestleMania was awesome. Okay, I'll end on a positive note here. That kind of got me worked up, I'm not going to lie. But the main event aside, The Rock aside, this was a great WrestleMania. Like if we look back at this, I think it's going to go down as one of the better ones for sure. And you know, it has some flaws. It was not perfect. Okay, we had very contradictive matches, match styles, match results, but we witnessed history. At the end of the day, John Cena won his 17th world title, and there's reason to celebrate for that. I am literally going to just erase Travis Scott from my brain. He did not come to WrestleMania. He did not take 6 years to walk down the ramp, and he did not cost Cody Rhodes the title. John Cena did it all on his own, and he did it as a heel, and he used the turnbuckle, and he used the belt, and Travis Scott was off at Coachella or something. Didn't happen. At the end of the day, it was great. I had a great time watching it. I'm gonna watch some of these matches again. So it was classic in those sense. And yeah, so that's that. We move on to Raw after Mania, and we're gonna have WrestleMania 42, and it's just gonna keep on going. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this reaction, review, whatever the hell you want to call it. And I'm gonna go and think about The Rock some more. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.